'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to sky.
Good morning, LinkedIn fans, YouTube fans, and Veterans Council Veterans Inc. Facebook, and our Facebook for Veterans Council Veterans. Here it is. I say, well, as you are not, good morning, good evening. It is even. I'm used to doing something in the morning time, but this time it's evening time. So good evening. It's 7 o'clock. And what we're doing is we're going to celebrate. This is Black History Month. And what we're doing with sponsored by Veterans Council Veterans, Gamma Eta Sigma Phi Beta Sigma, Go Mob, and also NAACP. We have decided we're going to honor African American veterans, and the theme of this is called "Thank You for Your Service, Black Patriots." And some people say, "Well, why are you doing this? You're being divisive. I said, "No, I'm not." Actually, what I'm doing is first of all, I have two goals. One, that everybody know out there that African Americans, blacks, as well as a lot of other races, are contributing to this country when it comes to war and the sacrifices. The freedom is everybody who's providing that. So I want everybody to know that. And I guarantee you, if I'm not doing it, very good chance somebody else is going to do it. That's the one pace. But secondly, there are of the African American community, especially for Black History Month, I want them to know they can be proud too of veterans, their father, mother's a veteran, and know that they're out there sacrificing. So I'm giving it. This is the twofer, right? This is all good, love. But that's what it's all about. But before I get ahead, my next guest, I have to do the intro. Yes. And this is here again for another edition. And I want to just do a real quick recap on what we did last week. Okay, last Monday we actually had a chance to interview the Aubrey McDade, the Navy Cross rewardee, and people who don't know, the Navy Cross is the highest reward you can get for the Navy or the Marine. And Audrey just happened to be only the second African American to receive this award. The only other one is Dory Miller. So we had him last week. I hope everybody learned a lot what's going on. But tonight, and I'm just excited. I got to mention this real quick. Next Monday, we are going to sit there and have a great conversation with now unfortunately, Sergeant First Class Alan Cass was posthumously awarded in 2020 the Medal of Honor. And next Monday at this same time, we're gonna interview people who are his battle buddies. E6 back then, but now the E9. So we're gonna have two E9s, Sergeant Major Martin Celestine and Sergeant Major Fennison, and we'll have his family member, his sister and Castanel, and also his niece Erwin. So we're gonna have a really great conversation next week. But I want you guys to stay tuned. But what we're here today is we're going to recognize, I've known, since Colonel, and I got this picture here. This picture is kind of embarrassing because it looked like I'm his kid, right? I should have cut it or something. I should have cut the knees off or something. I don't know. I need to fix something up. But I met Colonel Shabazz because he was stationed at CENTCOM. We knew each other via Facebook and LinkedIn. I said, "Yo, you're here in town, man." So we went out there and went at MacDill Air Force Base, got a chance to meet and got a real quick conversation. I tell you, his story is going to be so riveted. It is incredible. Unfortunately, we only got an hour. This guy could be on for more than that, an hour. He's been interviewed by Wall Street Journal several times. He's been on CNN. I mean, the guy's just all over the place. I'm just happy and I feel honored the fact that I could get a chance to get him on to talk to us. But first, I want you guys to see a little clip, and after I get a clip, I will then have a chance to meet Colonel Khallid Shabazz. Hear this 1 second here.
People die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. I want to inspire you this morning. Molested at 10 years old by a family friend. Went to special education in the 8th grade, failed the 9th grade, failed the 12th grade. Just when I was trying to recover my life, went to college, but I was drinking because of the trauma. Got shot in the back, beat with a shovel, almost lost my life. Came back to school, fighting, out of control, went to jail 2 times, kicked out of school. Decided to come in United States Army, found trouble there because I was still dealing with a little trauma. Chapter 2 Article 15s, chapter paperwork in hand. And once I was trying to recover my life, I decided I wanted to give my life to human beings. Decided I was going to become an officer. Failed the ASVAB 4 times. I want you to hear me. 5th time, I passed it. But listen here. Most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. I dedicated myself to education, 25 straight years in school. And there's the results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I got 1 at home.
So he said there, he says, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. You know, hey, I just want, first of all, everybody there, I want to welcome Chaplain Colonel Khallid Shabazz tonight. He is a man of the hours as we celebrate. Thank you for your service, Black Patron. Thank you very much. Welcome, Colonel Shabazz.
Woo! How you doing? I'm always fired up, man. Thank you so much for inviting me out. This is my life's work. I just want to give my life and help people. Thank you so much for inviting me out.
Thanks for the inspiration. The way we're going to do this, we got this broken in like 3 different sections. We're going to be talking about his childhood. We're going to talk about his Army life. And then eventually we're going to talk about his family. And the reason why I do that, because I want people to understand that we are all human beings. We're not robots. We're not G.I. Joe. We are human beings that got to come home and we got to deal with stuff. And I know Colonel Shabazz was awfully touching that, but I want people to understand that we're not just out there like robots, like Terminator, and we ain't got no feelings and stuff. So I want to humanize them, and that's the third part for this thing, for this segment. But before I do that, I want to sit there and thank our sponsors. And our sponsors, I'll tell you right now, our sponsors is Phi Beta Sigma, Gamma Eta Sigma, Go Mob. Now I know Colonel, they will come back at it, but that's okay. I want to make sure I got to ask. I want to thank the sponsors of the Gamma Eta Sigma Military Affairs Committee, St. Pete MWCP, and of course Veterans Council of Veterans for making sure that something like this actually happened. So now, after we finish our sponsorship, Colonel Shabazz, the first thing I want to flip my slide here so we know what we're talking about at this particular point in time. This time we're going to talk about Colonel Shabazz's childhood. Sir, tell us the foundation, the bedrock of who you are today.
Well, I tell you, and thank you for the opportunity again. This is going to get a little emotional for me because, so anyway, my story starts at 10 years old, being molested by a family friend. And because of that molestation, he took a jovial child, an extrovert, a child who was happy all the time. And I became closed in. Special education in the 8th grade, failed the 9th grade, failed the 10th grade. And just when I was getting back on my feet, I failed the 12th grade. Was able to go to summer school and finish out my high school. One of the things that's great, that's actually probably saved me in many ways, as you saw in the picture that you showed, I'm an enormous human being, 6'5", about 275. So I was allowed to go to college to play ball, but I was still struggling with the molestation. To be honest with you, Brother Tony, I didn't know whether I was a man or a woman because of the molestation. So I was drinking myself to sleep at night. And anybody who looked at me with a jaundiced eye, I got to be honest here. I know this is why you're here. I just beat them up. I overwhelmed them with my size because I thought they were looking at me because of the molestation. Well, that came to a head one night. Guys were tired of me beating on them. And I went into a club on campus, shot in the back, beat with a shovel, where I almost lost my life. Well, you would think after the recovery, a person would have some level of intelligence and straighten his life out. But no, I was still in this bad mindset because of molestation mixed with the dysfunctionality of the culture. And so I went back on campus, same party. And this is the importance of having good friends, Tony. My so-called friends didn't tell me not to hurt the kid. They gave me the means to hurt the kid. So they gave me a sawed-off shotgun and a .45, right? And so I was going to eliminate this kid. And, oh, man, God always sends somebody in the wilderness to help. And this guy said, he said, you're going to disappoint your mom, man. He said, you're going to disappoint your mom if you kill that kid. And so, you know, my love for my mom has been always ever present. And so I decided not to kill him that night. And I hurt him really bad, which is not all good, but I preserved my life. I went to jail. I was expelled from school. I went down to Louisiana, and where I worked as a janitor / cashier. At that time, my girlfriend got pregnant, and there I decided to come to the United States Army. Still hadn't dealt with the molestation, still hadn't got any therapy. So again, I had some problems with authority. And from 1991 to 1992, I received 2 Article 15s chapter paperwork in hand. So they was pushing me out of the Army. And I was an hour away from suicide, brother. And this leader, this is the importance of really good leaders. This leader came down to me, even though everybody, you know, thought I was a failure. He said to me, if you won't do it for yourself, why don't you do it for your wife and your children? And he said something to me that I think everybody on this line, I think is important. As a grown man, I had never heard anybody say these 4 words. And he said to me, I believe in you, right? And those words, honestly, changed my life. And I decided from that day, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was going to change my life, and I was going to be somebody, and I was going to be a father and a good husband and make something out of myself. And I, from that day till last year, 25 straight years, I've been in school trying to make myself out of a man. And that's where you see the 2 doctorate degrees and the 5 master's degrees.
Right.
So that's my story, brother.
Wow, it's a lot to unpack, and I know we gotta get a chance to get. I mean, you know, the night, the breathing, you know, because you know, hey, I'm not, you know. I mean, I understand coming out here and just talking about the trauma, and you know, that's important. And what I want to get people who are watching this and stuff, sometimes the military can actually save your life.
Yes,
it can really it can turn and that guy I interviewed last week, McDade, same thing. So it sounds like, but not right away. It's not right away.
You need some help.
Roger that. So when you went to school while you were in the military, or before you came with the military?
I went to school. I was expelled from college because of the fighting and the shooting. But while I was in the military, I ended up finishing my bachelor's degree, and then for 25 straight years while in the military, I went to school. All in the military.
Wow, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, I got to do a little a plug, a sponsor plug. But we're gonna have some people here that it's gonna be a party almost here. That I don't know how you guys, you know. It ain't gonna be like a real party, but it's gonna be a party as soon as we come back from this commercial break here. So one of our sponsors, I'm very proud for our sponsors for this to happen, for this to become a reality, is the Gamma Eta Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma Go Mob. Now I'm gonna let Colonel Shabazz say something about his team, but I ain't gonna say it out of my lips. And I want to thank them. And we have 2 chapters here in Tampa, and I belong to the Gamma Eta Sigma one that is in Tampa, and we have a military affairs chair. So I want to thank them for sponsoring them, and we have our principles. We're about community, you know. So anyway, I want to thank them for sponsoring this event as we get back to the Colonel Shabazz. Colonel Shabazz. I got some people here now because the next segment we're going to talk about is the military life.
Yeah.
And let me flip this little thing here. See how this looks. Boom. Military life. And we got some people here that a couple of them. We got a Malik Douglas and Tobin and Kevin. I'm gonna bring those guys up. I don't know if you know them. You can start introduce each other, And but so I want to bring them up first, and we're gonna start talk about military life, But hey, we on TV. It's 7 o'clock, but can't be too crazy, right? Can't be too crazy. So I'm gonna bring up some of these guys here, since they here in my little box here. And I want them to first of all introduce themselves. Who do we have on here? And then we're going to hear all the dirt.
I don't have no dirt, brother. I'm an
Okay, we're gonna start with Brother Brandon McFadden. Introduce yourself real quick. And if you're on camera, you put yourself on camera too. There you go.
Everybody, how's everybody doing? How you doing, sir? Colonel Shabazz, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm Captain Brandon McFadden. I serve at Army Central here in South Carolina. Myself and Colonel Shabazz serve together. The best chaplain I've ever served with. And I'm saying, and I mean that, I'm not blowing smoke. I am telling you, the best chaplain I've ever served with. Just straight, genuine. You never meet really real leaders like this that can relate on all levels. And I think that's why his reach is so powerful. So I'm definitely honored to be here tonight. And again, sir, hope Chaplain Shabazz, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you for your captain from South Carolina, you said?
Yes, sir, from Army Central headquarters.
Roger. Okay. Who else we got here? We got Malik. What's going on, Malik?
Dr. Douglas.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good evening, gentlemen. I am Dr. Malik. Colonel Shabazz and I have served together on several occasions at Fort Hood, in Crossing in Germany, as well as we served together in CENTCOM, 3rd Army. And he has been my friend longer than he has been my chaplain. And Colonel Shabazz introduced me to a new side of Islam and allowed me to navigate through Islam and the United States Army in the current military climate, being that we were heavily in Muslim countries. And so now that I am a retiree, hence the beard all the way down to my chest, Colonel Shabazz is definitely, like I said, he has been my friend fraternally as well as militarily, as well as just my friend. So that is my Colonel Shabazz story, and I'm sticking with it. And any dirt thrown on Colonel Shabazz will be met with extreme prejudice.
It's all good. That's all good. Where you at now, Malik?
Currently, I am in Indianapolis, Indiana, recovering from back surgery. So I'm living with my family right now.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right, I'm gonna bring some more people. We're gonna have a conversation. I like this little group. Everybody here got something good to say about. I don't know if he's paying you guys or what, but everybody's got good stuff to say.
Absolutely.
Okay, and now we got Mr. Tobin. What's up? What's going on, Tobin? Are you on?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir. There you go.
How you doing? Yes, I'm Will Tobin. I'm a warrant officer in the Pennsylvania National Guard. I'm AGR. I actually met Colonel Shabazz initially in LinkedIn a little over a year ago, and I actually saw him on TikTok. So he's been a great mentor of mine, and I really rely on him heavily on what is pretty much like to be a black officer in the United States Army. At times it's tough, and Colonel Shabazz at times give me the hard truths, the facts, and definitely a great mentor. So I definitely rely heavily. I'm just here to support him and just learn from everyone here.
Now you said you were in Fort Hood?
No, Fort Indiantown Gap. I don't know if anybody.
The other guy says he's in Fort Hood.
Yes, I'm in Fort Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, somebody else mentioned because I know Indiantown Gap too. I remember that much when I was training the reservists and stuff. So I know Indiantown Gap.
Yeah, so we just did a Black History program out there that Chief set up. I tell you, phenomenal. Had an opportunity to speak to his unit Didn't get a chance to be there in person, but spoke to him over an event like this. I tell you, great feedback. Still have people from there emailing me for some advice because it was, I think as we talked before the camera came on, it takes a lot of courage to invite me in. I'm a little non-traditional. I'm of the Islamic faith, and there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that in people's mind. So I thank Chief for the courage to do that, and also you, Tony.
Roger, no worries. So, Chief, what's your job? What is your job you do at the Anytown Gap?
I'm the accountable officer for the supply support activity.
Okay. You're the most important guy in the damn unit. You're in the S4 shop or whatever they call it, whatever the G4 S4. But you're the man. You're the man. You're the one that everybody talk to.
Yeah, I'm the one that everybody wants when you need a part, whether it's a tire or some type of weapon part. Yeah, I'm the guy.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much for being here. Then we got another guy here named who's this Rebecca? It's a device not connected, so I can't bring her on. Rebecca, and she had to log back in.
Yeah.
Then we got a Craig here. Craig, introduce yourself real quick.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Craig Watts. I'm Chaplain's brother from another mother.
Right.
We've been buddies and partners and best friends since 1998, right? Yeah, that's 25 years.
That's right, absolutely.
I know him and his family real well. I coached his son, and he in basketball, and his son is better than him, but he. Nah, just kidding. But me and Chap go way back. We've been through a lot. He's helped me a lot with just good guidance and advice. And like the gentleman said before me, he gives it to you straight, no chaser, but it's honest and it's positive and it's always from the heart. So, yeah. So, I mean, I could sit here and say glowing words about Chap all day long, but
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm already like,
He knows.
I'm like, what the? I'm gonna have to start deleting this stuff or putting my own words in there. Oh, I keep seeing them on LinkedIn with the 415.
That's right.
He knows how I feel about him. He helped me through one of the most difficult periods of my life when I was going through a divorce. So yeah, right now I'm here in Maryland. I'm an accountable officer with Department of Defense, IG. So the Inspector General's office. So I'm retired. I retired back in 2012. He's still doing this thing. I want to retire, but
he's still doing it. You got a lot of courage having that Baltimore Ravens shirt on. I mean, that's some pretty good courage there, man. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Listen, and knowing Craig, he had on another shirt. He put that on to come on camera. I'm telling you.
What's the other shirt? Eagles?
Oh no,
he ain't wearing nothing like that. He probably just had on a regular shirt. He knew he was coming on camera, so he put that freaking Raven shirt on.
Put that Raven shirt on. Now I got to point it out. I just got to go Eagles.
Last thing, I didn't have a chance to tell you. Craig Jr. he's moving on. He's got a coaching job at Baylor University now. He's going to be the coach at Baylor.
That dude is the man. So proud of little Craig. And obviously, I mean, great guidance and the importance of having a good father, a strong father in your life. That guy, he played in the NFL too, by the way, guys, for a couple of years. I don't mean to bust you out on camera, but I'm still waiting for my jersey.
we got some people that's in the DMV area talking crazy stuff here. You done rattled the bushes, man. You got the Ravens coming out. You may not even have a quarterback, man. You're gonna be like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no quarterback. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, we got
Ravens block.
So I'm gonna bring up Kevin Johnson. He ain't got a picture on, or a camera on, but
yeah, a lot of those guys I just invited them in. We can go on with the program.
Okay. All right. So we'll bring some of these guys out. I'm gonna put you guys in the green room, but I would like you guys to say some things because this is important. I think the people out there watching us, and they're seeing something that they don't see much of, right?
Right.
We got guys here that and I don't want to get racial, but it's Black History Month and all that kind of stuff. But we got positive, upstanding African American veterans, most of them are veterans, and we got mentorship, right? And those are the things that the plus side of being in the military. Just like me, I came in the military. I was a high school dropout, right? The difference is I want everybody to see everybody here, but when you're in the military, all races help you out. You can almost point at somebody who don't look like you who helped you one way or the other. You don't see it on the screen here, but that's the difference in the military. You may not see in the civilian world, but definitely in the military world, there are more than just one race to help you. I'm just good out here. I think you'll be an inspiration for anybody watching this thing. So, all right. So anyway, so now we're on Chaplain's military life. And so let's
Hey, Kevin, you got a hot mic, man.
Yeah.
Greg, I got it.
I'm saying,
Where is Kevin?
I'm actually in my dorm.
Okay. So let's
the military life for me, which a lot of people don't know it, and you got a couple of my friends on here, it's a very difficult proposition because I'm currently doing something that hasn't been done, even though I'm not the first Muslim chaplain. Abdul Rashid Muhammad was in 1993. I came a little bit after that, but I am the first to, have a division, first one to make colonel, first one to go to war college. There's a lot of history, and the first one to serve in the 3- and 4-star command. And so with that comes along a lot of stuff, a lot of discrimination, a lot of prejudice, a lot of fears. And so coming up as a young captain, I ended up going to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, which is not a big deal in itself, but I was replacing the Muslim chaplain that was detained for 75 days. So I was replacing him. You can read about him, Yusuf Yee. I was replacing him on a mission that absolutely terrified me. So now I'm there, and I'm a person in between two worlds. One, I got to serve my guys in the military, which is very important. But also, I'm the senior advisor to the commanding general on all Islamic affairs. All right. And so I got to go down to the cell blocks and make sure these guys' religious rights are taken care of. Very difficult because the MPs hate me because they think I'm an empathizer, so they won't talk to me. And then the detainees think I'm a spy, so they're throwing feces and urine on me. Very difficult time. Absolutely thought about quitting every night. I cried myself to sleep most nights. Very difficult time. So now you get into your regular units. And again, we're in this 18-year period where we're fighting in the Middle East. I'm an advisor, always to the commander, but also trying to win the confidence of the troops. So always in that kind of turmoil, well, kind of like, where do I fit in here? How can I learn to inspire and motivate people? And so learn to do that, learn the nuances of that, learn the intersectionality of being African-American male and a Muslim and trying to serve my soldiers. And so I did well enough. And then I was promoted to lieutenant colonel and took the first Muslim chaplain to take the division out in JBLM. I take a deep breath because what's coming after that is very tough. So on this website, I was getting death threats. People were trying to find the mosque and saying that they wanted to find a place where they can kill me in the pulpit. People were very scared. I was not, to be honest with you. And don't mean I'm crazy. It just means I had all that stuff that I had went through in the beginning. It gives me an assurance to be strong. I walk around with my head up high and a sense of pride every day because I believe that all of those things that happened to me as a young boy prepared me to be in this space right now. So I was at 7th ID, did well, and by the grace of God, I was promoted to colonel and became the first colonel in United States history from the Islamic faith. Went out to War College, then went out to Arson where I met Brother Brandon. And then now I'm at CENTCOM as the first Muslim chaplain at the 4-star command. And what's interesting in that before I close that out, talking about Black History Month, people are literally making pilgrimages to my office because you got two things here at play, right? You got first African American that's worked there as a chaplain, and the first Muslim chaplain. So people will come down to the office and they're just standing in the door. And I say, hey, can I help you? They said, no, we just wanted to see if it was true, because we didn't believe it was true that we got an African American and you're Muslim. So it's been a great time, and we've done some phenomenal work here at CENTCOM just because breaking down those barriers. We have people who've been working here for 20, 30 years and never seen an African American chaplain, let alone a Muslim chaplain. So we're breaking down a lot of walls, and some people are very happy about it. Others are not.
Yeah, and you and I spoke before, and as some of you guys don't know, I went down there and saw Chaplain Shabazz Thursday. Just want to make sure, hey, everything's good and everything. We had a quick talk, and I saw the other chaplain, Colonel Livingston.
Yes.
And I, change is hard, and you were the right. You have the right persona to sit there and deal with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's important because, like you said, you're not just an African American. There's a lot of African Americans running around McDill in the military, but the chaplain, the Muslim, because I know there was Muhammad Ali, all that kind of stuff there, but I wasn't into that. That wasn't it. So what my first introduction Muslim was Desert Storm. Okay, I'm just saying, when I heard Muslim, that's so I know if I felt that way, I'm sure a lot of people out there are saying,
sure,
we fighting a Muslim, a Muslim
right.
tribe, so that's what you're saying about the
yeah. But one of the greatest things in the world is, my personality was formed in Louisiana. It's a very accommodating place, kind of almost non-confrontational people, very cultural people. So my personality was born there. So my initial reaction to people is to take care of them, and so you couple that with religion, which is supposed to be a service organization. It's easy for me. My personality has gotten me into many doors. The biggest problem for me, right, is I'm 6'5", 265, right? And so that becomes a problem even if I'm being nice. One commander told me, he said, I don't care how much you smile, Chaplain. It's something behind your eyes that say you'll rip me apart. I said, sir, of course not. I wouldn't do that. God bless you. Yeah, but I'm telling you, I got to be honest with you, man. And all these guys here who serve with me, and my big brother Craig, they'll let you know, man. I don't care about anything but taking care of people. That's all I care about. Yeah, and that's just the facts. So
if I may speak to something, and Khallid left it out. He talked about his time at Guantanamo, but before that, when me and him first met, we met at Bamberg, Germany. And if you remember, we were in Bamberg at 9/11.
That's right.
He was getting threats in 9/11. We were all worried about his safety, his family's safety right after 9/11 when, all that kicked off. But he kept his head held high. He didn't run from anything. The command wanted to isolate him. They wanted him to safety. And he said, no.
I'm right.
Here, I'm a chaplain here. I'm gonna serve these troops here. So as a young captain. So today, as a colonel, was on display then as a young captain, and I was there to witness it all. So
yeah, that's right. No, I appreciate that. I forgot to tell that they wanted to evacuate me out. They thought it was too dangerous, and I told them HE double hockey sticks no. I said I'm their chaplain. I'm going to stay here. I don't care what happens. I'm not running. And so we stayed there, man. We did valuable work, and the rest is history.
It's an HE-double-L.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. You see that halo around my head? I couldn't say it. I'm a holy man.
It's all good. And I seen a couple. I don't know what's going on with these guys from the DMV and all that. I don't know. I got to talk to my assistant. Assistant. Yes. Let's make sure we get some people from the West Coast on here, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So it's all, guys. I had to mention that. go ahead, mention your fraternity. I want to give you opportunity to say something. Because you will hear mine.
Yeah, the fraternity is important, but I want to say something before then. That's the importance of great leadership. I was watching the story of Bill Russell yesterday. I love those stories because they give you a bird's eye view behind the persons, right? And of course, I was looking for Bill Russell and all the things he did, but something was very glaring that I don't know if a lot of people caught. Bill Russell was, yes, he was a courageous man. He was a civil rights activist. But my God, you know who was the activist who I never would have thought was the real activist? Red Auerbach.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, you never would think that because Red Auerbach is in Boston. You think he's racist, he's white. But Red Auerbach not only drafted, he moved up in the draft to get Bill Russell. They didn't have any black players by then, right? And then at one time, we see the black players now for Boston, and we say, okay, well, man, progress. He had 5 black players starting in the 1950s.
Man.
Secondly to that, we can't miss this, he made Bill Russell the first African-American coach in the NBA, and nobody even talks about it. Man. So this guy is like, he just became one of my heroes. Because I didn't know that. Could you imagine the courage it had to take for Red Auerbach to make Bill Russell not only one of the players, that's one thing, but to make him the first black coach in the NBA? Bill Russell's house used to get defecated in by the Klan during that time.
Wow. So and we still on our little the military life. If anybody want to add something in, please chime in. We got all these guys here. We got the captain and the warrant officer. And see, people don't know it. Warrant officers, they can talk crap, right? The captain may gotta be a little careful, you may be what, but the warrant officer sit there and say crazy stuff. And he ain't gotta worry about nothing. Okay, just let everybody know. They can talk truth to power. Anybody want to add anything as we start winding out this the military life? I know somebody mentioned after you come to Hawaii, and I know you asked again.
Yeah, I'm coming to Hawaii. I'm going to Miami. We're doing a big conference out there, speaking to the Jewish council out in Miami. But after I leave Miami, we have an event here in Tampa. I'm speaking to the educational council here at the Islamic Society of North of Tampa. And then on Sunday, I'm flying out to Hawaii. I'm doing about 4 or 5 events in Hawaii. So whoever that was on the line, God willing, I'll be in Hawaii on the 26th through the 1st. So we can get a chance to break bread. But I'm doing a couple of events out there. They can hit me up in the inbox and I'll send them the invite.
Okay.
Itinerary, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Malik.
So I know as we spoke about the military life, and Colonel Shabazz tends to take that side of the military that he can add a little brevity and levity to. So let me explain to you all how serious Colonel Shabazz, his presence in the military is necessary. We talk about the value of a black officer and high-ranking black officers, and I think I have served with 4 stars as a major, 4 stars all the way up to admirals, and I had an opportunity to work side by side with the Joint Chiefs, with the Secretary of Joint Chiefs, or whatever you call his position. So, in being able to do so, working with all of these different people, General Kip Ward on his transition out of AFRICOM and everything going on there, and bringing in his successor, and then going down on the continent, and then actually working with HOA, Horn of Africa Command, down in Djibouti. You see a lot of officers that look like you, but you never get an opportunity to associate with an officer who looks like you and is of like attainments. And so when you meet that officer, whether it be senior or junior, that is willing to meet you where you are, can speak your language, and still change you as an individual. Colonel Shabazz navigated the military into a safe space for Muslim soldiers. Yes, there were Muslim chaplains before him, but there were very few who were willing to publish a memorandum to go out across all armed services and say, hey, This is what you do for your Muslim service members before and after Ramadan, during Eid, during PT, which is the most coveted thing by enlisted soldiers. Oh, don't mess with our PT time. And he took the time and had the courage to stand in that space to address those officers above him and below him and make everyone understand the importance of just not Islam, but the religious accommodations for all. And so that's why I say Colonel Shabazz and people like him, they are necessary in this space. And I do pray that one day he is able to become that chief of chaplains and change doctrine and support our senior commanders in changing doctrine. I pray for that for him. He may not be praying for that for himself, but know that as your brother and as your friend, I'm praying for that for you and for Rhonda, because I know Rhonda wants you at home by now. So, but I would employ all of those of you who are still serving. Learn from Colonel Shabazz how to fit into those spaces. Don't just be a captain or a major or a lieutenant colonel or a warrant officer who just show up and just do your job. Because I can tell you, and this happened back in 2009, I won't get into specifics, but as a friend, as a brother, and at what I call a true brother of Omega, sir, not of not of Phi Beta Sigma,
delete button,
of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Being involved in one of the most salacious and hellacious situations I've ever been involved in I've ever been involved in the continental United States. I had one rock that could navigate me through being a Muslim convert, who could navigate me through the issues of the situation in which we found ourselves, and even through the opportunity I had to defend my friend and brother. And he stood there and told me, some rounds I just have to take. Be there to catch me. I don't know if he ever remembers that conversation out at the golf course at Fort Hood, but he told me specifically, there are some rounds I have to take, but be there to catch me. And for the last 16 years, I have always been there, whether it was in his presence or whether it was defending his honor and his name when he wasn't there, to stand there and to catch him when I had to. That's all I got, guys. Thank you for hearing me out.
Man, shoot, that's some good stuff. Fort Hood. I was born in Fort Hood, and I was stationed in Fort Hood not before you guys, 96 and 2000. So I know about Fort Hood and the Killeen and all that crazy stuff going on. Anybody else want anything before we go to the family? How about,
I think what Dr. Douglas said is very important, Tony, because most people don't understand being in this space and essentially being alone, because nobody can understand these shoes. Right? Nobody can understand what I go through on a daily basis, and the people who serve with me most assuredly see some of the pain and the anguish. But one of the greatest things in life, I had a mother who was a warrior, and she foretold these things. She didn't see me obviously in this role as an Islamic chaplain, but she did see me as a person who was going to be intelligent, educated, and being able to stand. And one of the things that she told me, some of the strongest people in the morning cry themselves to sleep at night, right? And so I personally, I feel good when I stand for other people. I feel good in the morning when I can go to bed at night, even though it hurts, even though it's that great personal sacrifice for me and my family, since we transitioned into family, personal sacrifice for me and my family. I feel good that I can be in the space where I can help people who are in need, even though I take some saber rounds to the chest. They've cost me a lot of great jobs. They've cost me a lot of positions, all right? Because people want me to act a certain way and be a certain way and do things a certain way, and especially as a senior officer and a chaplain being on the internet. A lot of people don't like me in this space. Well, for me, and I've been talked to quite harshly. But I always smile because at the end of the day, they don't have my mission. And I got 250,000 followers. And every day I get my backside up, I go and make a video just encouraging people to not quit. And so those people who are hard on me don't understand that because at the end of the day, those young soldiers come to me in their darkest hours because they heard that story of me being an hour away from suicide. And so they come to me when they're thinking about those thoughts, and they know I'm not going to be judgmental. They know I'm not going to be harsh on them. I'm just going to give them an opportunity to have someone to talk to. And I'm very proud of that. And lastly, I'll say this, and sometimes it does get so hard where I got to cry myself to sleep or call Dr. Douglas. I've even called Brandon a couple of times and say, man, it is hard out here. It's tough because people are jumping on you with both feet for no good reason, but you're just trying to be a good person. So I'm not blessed to have, I was talking to a guy today on LinkedIn, and he was asking me about all these people and my mentorship. I said, I'm not blessed to have a mentor. I'm not blessed to have somebody who's constantly in my ear saying, hey, we're going to put you in this job. We're going to make sure it is this. I'm not blessed to have that. It's some people that, I talk to and text every once in a while, but I'm not blessed to have sometimes what other officers have and somebody kind of navigating me through. And it's not really their fault all the time. I'm the first guy, right? I'm the first guy. I'm of a different faith. So that in itself for them has to be very difficult. And so a lot of times, of course, and I want to be honest with you, I take it very personal. And then I got to get out of my feelings. Yeah. Right? Because if I stay in my feelings, yeah, I can't be productive. But they've never seen a guy like me. They've never had to deal with the Islamic dude in a space where 99.9% of the people are Christian. And what I would like them to say, and I hope one day we get a chance, even whether I'm out of the military or not, because a lot of people contact me after they retire. What I would like them to come to the realization is, even though we have 99.9% of the people in the military who happen to be of another faith, people in the military don't even call me imam, they call me chaplain. And you know why they call me chaplain? Because I'm there for everybody, okay, right? And so those leaders who are short-sighted need to understand that. I take care of all people because my mom taught me to do that. Thank you.
Well, man, I tell you, so we're about ready to get to the family side. Anybody? I know Chaplain McFadden was going to say something before we switch to the family side.
And I'll be quick. Just obviously working at Army Central, Colonel Shabazz, there, like you said, people just gravitate towards him, and he's been I think he's been a safety valve for a lot of Black officers, especially myself. When I've spoken to him, and I recently became a new dad, roughly almost 18 months ago, right? And also I'm currently the aide for the chief of staff, right? So serving that position, also being a new dad, talking to him, right, gave me a lot of perspective because I was nervous, man. I was nervous, and I don't know, Chaplain Shabazz, sir. I don't know you realize talking to you, definitely helped me get through that transition, because there was a lot of things at play. Obviously, I wasn't married, It's like, right, wow, if I'm going to be looked upon, judged, especially being a Black officer in these spaces, and I have a kid out of wedlock, and
right, yeah,
man, I just thank you, sir, for helping me navigate through that. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people, come to you. Obviously, my boss, my supervisors, has stopped by your office. She's currently working on a Ph.D. She's still going strong in that. So
right,
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for that, sir. And also too, sir, I've seen, it's been obviously also disappointing because, we talked about it, sir. I hope it doesn't come to it's like a Charles Young moment, right? Where years down the road, and then they decide to, you finally get your flowers from the totality.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I gotta be honest with you, Brandon. I tell you, man, and that's where I need the prayers, like Dr. Douglas said, of those people who know, because in my mind, now I'm a guy of faith, but in my mind, I like you. I see 30 years down the road, I'm gone. You know, my children's children, they start to say, "Oh my God, what a great guy he was. He did this, he did this," and posthumously, whatever, they give you some award or some rank. I think that's a tragedy. It happens all the time. I've worked very hard. I don't need the rank. I need if somebody honestly would say, "Man, we are so proud of you." I probably could retire that day, honestly. But you just don't get that. People are so afraid. So yeah, Brandon, it took a lot for me to talk to you as a cap. I gotta tell you, man. It was I should get an MSM for that right there.
Oh, it's all good.
No, sir.
Wow. Okay. So I want to I had to shift this because I like keep no more than an hour, but it was a great conversation. We touched on so much stuff here, but about being an African American officer, you hear about it say, "I don't see color." I see. You hear people say that, "I don't see color. I just see whatever." But anyway, we hear that, and he said intersectional. That's where that's the line he's walking. He's intersectional. He's just not a black officer, but also of Muslim faith, and then he's a field grade too. Whew. So anyway, you know what I should do? I wish I could have contacted your wife. I'd have snuck her on here for the family side, but next time I guess I'll think about that. But I want a couple. Who here? Anybody who knows his family? Let me know.
Oh my God.
Oh, hey, man! It's your life now, man. It's your life.
I try to be tough. I try to be tough on the internet. Now they about to expose me.
Nah, yeah, right. Please don't ever play that. Them little comments he make about his wife on the internet, trust me. But I tell you something, though. I tell you this. Very few times, and the divorce rate in the United States military has been extremely high. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about a chaplain team, Colonel Shabazz, Mrs. Rhonda Shabazz has been a chaplain team. And I say that because I've seen the support in person, promotions. I had an opportunity to work on his promotion ceremony when he made lieutenant colonel. The brothers of Fort Hood had pitched in, purchased a cake. She went down to the baker and changed the whole thing up. and Colonel Shabazz was like, "Did you talk to Rhonda first?" I was like, "Nah, man, wait a minute."
Well, I want everybody to say, "Hello, Rhonda." Okay, we will make sure it's a problem. Hello, Rhonda.
But just know that even when the two of us had to come back, because his daughter and my eldest son, his youngest daughter, my eldest son, graduated from high school together.
Yeah.
And so understand that when we both were working, our wives were at home, and she was a support factor for so many women, whether he was at Fort Hood or not, whether he was present when they were in Europe or not. So when you talk about family, oh yeah, he loves his family, but understand that his family loves him enough for him to be able to do what he does for so many other people in and outside of his command. So, hey, that's his family moment, and I'm sticking with it, and I won't let him tell a different story.
31 years of torture. You know what?
He said that. He said that.
Hey, I hope you get this recorded. You know what? I'm a Geo Bachelor right now. One of the great things about being a Geo Bachelor, you see this thing right here?
Yeah.
I can leave it on the counter all night and not get fussed at. I love
it. So tell us, and Dr. Doug has kind of touched on it. The family now, you taking these Sable rounds, all this other kind of stuff. How is that affecting the family? I know you say you're right now you're a Geo Bachelor, which means you're here on assignment, and your spouse is still back wherever home is. So how does that affect them?
Well, my family, I gotta be honest with you. One of the good jobs of being a leader is my family is almost oblivious of what I go through, right? Intentionally. My family, when I go home, my family see Khallid Shabazz. I'm not at home belly aching about what they're doing to me at work, about how I believe that they're pushing me to the side, how I believe that they're discriminating against me. My family is oblivious to that. They see daddy at home. They see me in a Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, NPR, they see all that. They're like, oh my God, Daddy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If I start telling my family the things that I go through, they'll be afraid for me. And I can't afford them being afraid for me because I'm traveling in and out of the country. I need security when I go to the Middle East because, everybody in the Middle East is not happy with me being in the military, even though I'm going over there doing diplomatic missions for my unit. I can't let my family know that. But the good thing about, some of the things I'm doing on the internet, my daughter's a 5th grade teacher, right? And so she calls me one day and she says, I need you to get on FaceTime. I said, what's going on? She said, my class says that this guy's on TikTok and he's so inspirational. She said, that guy's my dad, and they don't believe her.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So I got on FaceTime and the kids went nuts. Right? And that, you're talking about 5th graders. So you're talking about that type of impact that you're able to have in the society. So go back to what you're saying. My family just sees me as, hey, that's Daddy. He out there impacting the world. I can't let them in on that type of pain. I can't do it. I can't do it. It would terrify them. And so I can't have that. Mama would want me home immediately. So they don't even know. They just kind of at home hanging out.
Hey, but let me tell you all, Khallid being a little he don't realize me and him go way back. So I got
you feeding into Tony. That's what Tony wants.
I coached his son Jalen when Jalen was about 6, 7 years old playing basketball. He's the worst basketball dad there is in the stands because he just interrupts your ability to coach his kid because his kid, you're trying to coach his kid playing a game and he's listening to his dad in the stands telling him what to do when you're trying to coach his kid.
Oh man!
Let my kid shoot. You're a horrible coach.
Man, the horrible parent. Oh my God!
But I will say this: me and Khallid have had so many. Endless talks about fatherhood.
Yeah.
And I think I can say this earnestly: no matter what title you give him, chaplain, colonel, father is the most important one. At least me and him have had this discussion before. There's no other title more important because of the impact it has over the long term.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've seen him with his kids. I've seen him with his family. And you're right, Rhonda is a pistol. But
yeah, I saw her on Facebook. She looked like you don't want to play with her. I'm just saying.
This is why they don't let chaplains do strategy. See, so I married a woman. She was like 5'2", looking docile, and so I thought, that she would just do everything I said. This is exactly why they don't let chaplains do courses of action and strategy. Because boy, I tell you, I got myself in a lot of trouble. That woman is a nightmare.
Brandon, this is the guy you talked to.
Brandon learned from my mistakes.
I want to circle back a little bit because it's important, especially in this broadcast, about fatherhood. And what you're seeing right now, you don't really see often on TV, right? You're seeing 6 fathers, whatever.
Well, Tony, I think we've bought into a system of lies. Fathers like us are almost afraid to show fatherhood, right? Because that's not what we see and that's why I put my family up all the time, put my kids up all the time, really as a forcing mechanism, as a strategic imperative to say, hey, we're going to break down these stereotypes, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna destroy these stereotypes. One of the greatest things I see Dr. Douglas and I see Craig. They always put their kids on Facebook. They always with their children. We have to be responsible for telling our story. We don't have to wait on somebody else to do that. But I think what happens is, and I'm a word guy, and these guys will tell you, we listen to this humility thing. Humility in the dictionary is a person who thinks less of themselves, right? I don't buy that definition. Humility for me is I take all of my resources. all the degrees and all of the contacts I have, and I give them away. Now that's humility. Humility ain't somewhere sitting back, well, I don't want to talk too much about myself because they gonna think I'm arrogant, they gonna think I'm narcissistic. No, I want everybody to see that I'm successful. So if you see that I'm successful and you see I'm just like you can come in my inbox and say, hey, you seem like a normal guy, except for me throwing up 415. I don't want to mention that again. You seem like a Dr. Douglas said. But you know, that shows people that I'm just a regular guy. The only difference between me and other people is experience and sacrifice. And so, but if you don't know me, if you don't see me out there, how can you connect with me? And we bought into a false narrative, in my opinion.
Wow. You know, we come up on, you know, we got little, you know, well, actually, hey, that's okay. We're going to stretch it a little bit, whoever's still around. And I wanted, because one thing I wanted to talk about really quick, it's very important to me, and I hope you guys echo on this here. So, man, where's me? Make sure I got everybody. I just lost everybody. Dang, where's everybody at?
We're still here. You just got.
I wanted to have you guys all talking to that picture. But next week, I'm going to be talking to Command Sergeant Major Martin Celestine, Quentin Fenderson, Sergeant Major, and then Alan Cash's sister Casanel and his niece. And I wanted to say that because this is something else we don't know, right? If I don't, people say, "Oh, no." If I don't show this, he's going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
This guy was awarded the Medal of Honor, and it took 15 years. And I got a conversation on Thursday. I'm talking to General Brittle because General Brittle was battalion commander at that time.
Yeah.
Nice.
He made sure this guy got his Medal of Honor.
Yeah. So this guy, he was 3 months ago. I met his family. We had an event for him here at CENTCOM. And so once they told his story and told about General Brittle being his battalion commander, I took a calculated risk and reached out to that 4-star, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. I mean, he could have cut my head out, but yeah, he could have. You know, I'm a casualty sometimes, but yeah, I reached out to him with no appointment, and we talked about that. But yeah, they did a ceremony for him, and the 4-star here gave him a coin, and we had a dinner for them. The reason I'm referencing that, you know, again, you're talking about black officers, and one of the great things was when he came in, I got a call. When his family came in, they say, "Chap, we love your personality. We need you to come up here and navigate this space with us," right? And so what's funny about that is, and what's interesting about that is, when I start talking to mama and and uncle and all them, we start talking about hog maws, we start talking about chickens, we start talking about, you know, things that happen in the urban culture, and it made them calm down. You see what I'm saying? So when you have that type of diversity and inclusion in the room,
right,
it stopped being so tenuous. And see, this is what people don't understand by diversity and inclusion. I was able to navigate that space with no effort.
Wow, you know, that's a whole new topic that we can all get into. You know, but we're about ready to close, and I want any of you guys who are on here, any last shots with not shots, but any last comments before we get
don't
on?
ask them guys about no shots. They start talking about
they love you, man. You know, they all
y'all
love
can
you.
Cash
I
out
don't
me.
know.
I'm going to Popeyes. Y'all can cash out me, Dr. Shabazz.
I don't know. Craig seemed like he's the only one seeing the really truthful one. The Craig, I'm just saying, he like, hey, man.
Yeah, Craig is a fire starter, man. You need to turn off his mic.
All right. So anyway, so we're gonna get ready to close. If you got any comments, please say something now. This is something I had it on because I wanted everybody to know that in my backyard, because I'm in St. Pete. My nonprofit Veterans Council veteran is everywhere, but we got the highest ranking Muslim chaplain in our backyard, and everybody's saying here he's inspirational. He's not just a name. This guy's have made impactful lives on both black and everybody. One of the things he tried to emphasize, he's a chaplain for everybody.
Right.
He's just in the Muslim faith. is his thing. So anybody got any last closing thought before we sit there and sign off?
Hey, my last thing I'd like to say, and this goes out to everybody. Colonel Shabazz has a affirmation that he does with his son, and part of that affirmation is interdict mediocrity. I have heard interdict mediocrity for 16 years. And that was something I used with my own children. So if you don't remember Colonel Shabazz for anything else, it should be. And if you want to walk in his shoes, walk a mile in his footprints, always attempt to interdict mediocrity. Colonel Shabazz, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum, mashallah, and root to the Q's.
Root to the Q's.
Well, I got it. You know it's gonna be deleted when I you know that already. So we're gonna do a quick commercial. I want you guys, I want to do my last commercial. I want also for you guys who are there. We're doing this again. So we got a special broadcast coming up on the 22nd of February. We're going to be interviewing the VA press secretary, Terrence Hayes. He's the first African American press secretary. And we're going to talk a little bit for about 45 minutes. So stay in tune. It's going to be 10 o'clock in the morning. It's said like it's nighttime. So and he's an Army guy, retired Army guy, all that kind of stuff. So we want to definitely have a conversation with him.
Get me in touch with that guy, man. Get me in touch with that guy. I need to know guys like that. I need to know guys. I mean, he guys like that are just good. I got probably about a year left in the military. Maybe he can let me be a janitor up there. So.
Well, I'll bring it up. So, yo, man, Shabazz wants to get to know you, so you can
absolutely
somewhere in the system or whatever.
Absolutely.
All right, so thank you guys again for being on here and making this more. And I love this because again, it's shown there's a lot more of us out there than people think. This is a small sample, but there's a lot more out there who are veterans, who are family members, who are part of the community. And Chaplain College is just one of them. So thank you very much, Dr. Douglas, Chaplain Brandon McCain, Craig, the troublemaker,
and Chief, double heat.
Chief, the accounting guy. You're in Indianapolis Gap, right? Indianapolis Gap, that's where you at?
Indian Town Gap, yes, for Indian Town Gap.
Yeah, I've been up there because I was stationed in Jersey. And Tony, I've been up there.
Tony, can we do something before we close? Call that Joker's command and tell them to go to PT in the morning. Warrant officers do not show up to PT.
They don't, man. They don't. And they don't pull SDO or whatever. They don't pull anything.
They try though. They try.
Hey, they did when I was the 3.
He was 3. He said that was a different story, huh? Okay. Well, I know when my battalion commander protected his 4. I'm just letting you know. He was like, don't touch between the sergeant major and the 4. Don't touch him. Don't touch him, or you're gonna find some another job, different job. So,
man, my battalion commander hung them jokers out to dry. Had them at the daggone rail yard and everything.
Really? Woo!
Tragedy.
Well, another conversation.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We're about ready to.
Man, thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you guys for being on here. I'm gonna do my last promo. So I want to also thank for St. Pete NAACP 5130. I'm the Armed Service Veteran Affairs Committee Chair. And again, we're here as we're sitting there talking about justice and injustice of African Americans. We wanted to make sure that everybody honors veterans during Black History Month, and that's why we're having this. And that's why I'm glad that NAACP is giving me the opportunity to sponsor this show as we sign off. So, woo! There we go, guys. We had it. We made it. We had a great conversation. We had the Chaplain Shabazz's tribe here, and we had times. Oh my gosh! I'm going to. What he said about his wife Rhonda, boy, I'm gonna have to sit there and package it and start using it as some kind of blackmail mate. But anyway, I want to make sure we have this out. We have this. This is Tony Williams from Veterans Council Veteran. I want to thank the Gamma Eta Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma Go Mob for sponsoring this. I want to thank the NAACP St. Pete and of course Veterans Council Veteran for Black History Month. Thank you for your service, Black Patriots. Until then, this is Tony Williams, and I see you on Wednesday, 10 o'clock, as we talk to the VA press secretary. See you then.